Good evening, and welcome to our Connect, Inform, and Engage. Tonight, we will be bringing you information regarding our federal programs and how federal funding helps the district to support several initiatives that lead to student academic growth, student positive experiences. We are blessed today to have with us a panel that includes our Executive Director for Federal Programs, Janet Morris, our pre-K coordinator, Mrs. Natasha Williams, our ESL coordinator, Mr. Hernan Daza, as well as two school principals, Mr. Alan Wilson from Bailey Elementary School and Mr. Leon Dupree from Rocky Mount Middle School. Today, we look forward to engaging with you and sharing with you information regarding federal funding. I am Michelle Royster, and I will serve as today's facilitator. I serve as the school district's parent involvement coordinator. The agenda for today will include a presentation regarding our federal programs, and following our presentation, we will give the panel an opportunity to receive questions from our audience. So we ask that all parents and community members please share your question, concerns, and ideas so that you will be able to talk to our district experts. Unfortunately, our Zoom feature for chat is not working. But in our YouTube, you'll be able to ask questions using our question and answer feature on our YouTube, which is the white box that's in front of you. If you would just type where it says, please input your question, then I will see your question and we will be more than happy to ask the panel for you.
Good evening. My name is Janet Morris, Director of Federal Programs. We are excited to discuss the federal funds listed on the screen with you this evening. As we present tonight, if you have any questions or feedback, we welcome you to share those with us by either emailing us at federalprograms@ncpschools.net or by contacting the person listed on the slide for each of the programs. We will begin our discussion on Title I, which is improving the academic achievement of our disadvantaged students. Per federal guidelines, schools eligible for school-wide Title I funds have at least 40% of their student population eligible for free and reduced lunch and are ranked based on the grade span and/or poverty levels. In Nash County Public Schools, our elementary schools are a priority for receiving Title I funds, along with our high poverty, middle, and high schools. Here's a breakdown of how we spend our Title I Part A funds. The highest percentage of our funds are spent on instructional content support, school allocations, and professional development. Title I also supports technology integration, pre-kindergarten, our homeless students, our teacher leader initiative called Opportunity Culture, and parent engagement. You will notice throughout this presentation the value we place on shared partnerships with parents and the benefit that can have on student achievement. Once the school receives the amount of their Title I funding, the principal and stakeholders determine how the allotment will be spent after the required set-asides have been covered. Set-asides include funds for homeless students, pre-K transitions in our elementary schools, and parent involvement. A minimum of 1% of a school's Title I funds must be spent on parent engagement opportunities. It is important to note that the schools determine how their Title I funds will be spent based on the needs of their school, and the plans could include any of the categories listed above, such as salaries for teachers or teacher assistants, tutoring during the school day or after school, furniture and equipment, substitutes, devices, software, field trips, and/or library books.
Research shows that when students, parents, and schools work together, then the academic achievement of the student is maximized. Thus, parent involvement is a priority within our school district. Each school has to have a parent involvement plan as well as a Title I parent and family engagement plan for all schools that are Title I. This plan will be made available for all parents to view using the district schools website. Per board policy, all schools must create a parent involvement policy that contains 8 components. The first one being meaningful two-way communication between home and school. For meaningful two-way communication, many times schools send surveys home to parents. It is imperative, parents, that you provide us with feedback. This feedback we use to make decisions for what is best for children. Also, when we have parent meetings and parent Title I meetings at your child's school, opportunities are provided for parents to be able to engage, ask questions, and provide suggestions. The policy also requires that we have promotion of parenting using a research-based parenting curriculum. For our K-2 schools, we use parenting partners. And for all of our other schools, we use successful innovation, also known as SI4. Parents are encouraged to be involved in their child's education, to volunteer, and to help make decisions that affect their children. We also encourage parents to collaborate and for student health awareness. Every school is required to have a Title I parent meeting if they are a Title I school. All of our Title I schools have had that annual meeting as of today's date. The purpose of this meeting is to inform parents regarding federal funding, how that federal funding is being used, and to get your feedback and your suggestions regarding the use of federal funding, the parent involvement plan, and parent involvement policy. Please review your child's school's parent involvement policy and engagement plan and provide the school's feedback. We ask that you submit your feedback to any of our schools through our federal programs at ncpschools.net. You can also reach out to the individual principal via their email or contact to provide your feedback, your suggestions, and your ideas regarding parent involvement plan and the school improvement plan.
Every Nash County Public School distributed a parent-student-teacher compact at the beginning of the school year, describing the shared responsibilities of each stakeholder in your child's education. Title I schools sent the compact home via the student agendas that are inside the front cover. Non-Title I schools sent a hard copy home of the compact. The compacts were developed with feedback from parents, teachers, principals, and central office staff, and include expectations for those involved and the success of all students. You will see here a sample of the student parent teacher compact. If you did not receive this at the beginning of the 2022-23 school year, please reach out to your child's school. Parents' right to know. Title I school parents and guardians have the right to request information on the professional qualifications of their child's teacher. Parents and guardians must also be notified when their child has been taught 4 or more consecutive weeks by a teacher who does not meet certification requirements for the subject in which they are teaching. Parents may also request information on state and local policies regarding required assessments their child will be taking during the school year. Testing information, including a testing calendar for the district, are located on the Nash County Public Schools webpage. Additional information on the parent's right to know will be sent home from all Title I schools before Christmas break. Equity. Equity focuses on taking those opportunities presented to students and infusing them with support and resources to turn the education system into a level playing field. Nash County Public Schools believes in providing equitable opportunities for all students and has created a district equity plan that has 3 goals. Number 1, elimination of opportunity gaps. Number 2, improving school and district performance. And number 3, increasing educator preparedness to meet the needs of every student. Please review our equity plan and share any questions or feedback at the email address shown on the screen or with Mr. Willie Howard, Director of Equity and Alternative Programs.
Good evening. My name is Vernon Daza, and I coordinate migrant education for Nash County Public Schools. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Title I, Part C, which is education of migratory children and youth. How our district integrate the migrant education program with state and local services or programs? The district coordinator and his staff communicate regularly with parents to make sure that the parents are aware of the available state and local services and help and support to the parents to enroll students in those programs. A few of those programs are the Nash County Migrant Exchange, the NC Cooperative Extension, Healthcare Options, School and District Event, Federal Web-based Program, Local faith-based support, etc. Now, what kind of services and instructional activities are provided by migrant education for eligible children? And also, what a learning age children or those children who have dropped out at school we serve. The Nash County Public Schools Migrant Education Program uses federal funding to hire teachers for after-school tutoring, in-school tutoring, summer school, parent workshop, family literacy, SEL support. We also provide transportation and snacks for students attending these programs. Additionally, migrant education program tutors do at-home instructional activities for students ages 3 to 5 who did not have the opportunity to enroll in a pre-K program. On the next slide, you will be able to see the number of migrant students in our district and what schools are they located at.
Good evening. My name is Natasha Williams, and I am the Early Learning Coordinator for Nash County Public Schools. This evening, I will be giving a brief overview of our district's preschool program, which also is partially funded by Title I federal funding. District Title I funds help to support our preschool program in 6 out of 7 of our preschool sites. To participate in our preschool program, a child must be 4 years of age on or before August 31st of the current school year. Parents are required to complete an application process and must meet one or more of the following requirements listed in order to be eligible for our preschool program. Preschool is a place that turns ordinary experiences into extraordinary moments of learning. For many children, preschool is their first introduction to school. Pre-K is a great environment that lays the foundation for positive attitudes towards school and encourages developmentally appropriate practices. Nash County Public Schools program provides an environment that promotes growth in all developmental domains, including language, literacy, math, physical, emotional, and social development. All of our pre-K curriculum and activities promote readiness skills that help prepare the students for kindergarten. To monitor the progress of preschool students in the Title I funded pre-K program, Nash County Public Schools uses teaching strategies goal assessment in which students receive report cards at the end of each grading period. The teaching strategies goal assessment model follows widely held expectations for children and enables the whole child approach to assessment. Color-coded progression guides teachers towards selecting and adapting activities that support each child's development and learning. Meaningful reports inform classroom practices and individualization. It is important to mention that transitioning into kindergarten is a big step for children and their parents. Our district places an emphasis on preparing families and young children for the transition to kindergarten. Our transition program uses the Ready initiative adopted by the University of Pittsburgh Office of Child Development. It utilizes efficient and effective outreach strategies, working with schools, families, and communities. It is unique in that the program works to bring together all the necessary elements and participants for quality transition. The program includes community and family awareness activities and events, distribution of activities to families whose children will be entering the school in the fall, resources for families to help their child get ready for school, school and community help-based transition activities such as tour the school and summer activities, activities, and beginning school celebrations such as our open houses.
Title II, Part A funding is used to build the capacity of our instructional staff in providing high-quality instruction for all students. Professional development that is comprehensive, ongoing, and research-based is the foundation of our Title II services. In addition to professional development and instructional content support, our Title II funds support virtual learning, beginning teacher mentoring support programs, national board fee reimbursement, and supply for materials.
Title III, the English Language Acquisition, Language Enhancement, and Academic Achievement Act. The Title III, Part A of the Federal Elementary and Secondary Education Act provide funds to help English learners, including immigrant children and youth, to succeed in school by assisting them in becoming fluent in English and meeting challenging state academic content and student academic achievement standards. The priorities of Title III are to increase the English language proficiency of English learners by providing effective language instruction educational programs that meet the needs of ELs and increase English language proficiency and student academic achievement. Provide effective professional development designed to improve the instruction and assessment of ELs to enhance the ability of teachers and school leaders to understand and implement curricula and assessment practices and measures, and to increase the children's English language proficiency or substantially increase the subject matter knowledge, teaching knowledge, and teaching skills of teachers. And provide and implement other effective activities and strategies that enhance or supplement language instruction, educational programs for ELs, which shall include parent, family, and community engagement activities. This is a sample of what the Title III expenditures. The majority of, or a good portion of the funds are between salaries for teachers or educators. Also, we have supplies and materials for our students, the computer software and supplies, and workshops for professional development. How our district ensure that all teachers of ELs understand the WIDE standards and effective ways to teach the English language learners? Our department meet bi-monthly, and we focus with the ESL teachers in the 4 WIDE standards that address 4 areas. In the WIDE standards that address 4 areas: equity, integration, collaboration, and functional approach. The ESL and the classroom teachers focus on the can-do descriptors, detail that the current English proficiency of a student based upon data, and teachers are able to adjust the instructional activities appropriately. How our district determine the topics? It's based on teachers provided feedback, initiatives from the district, state, or federal government, and parent survey. This is a concern-based and program feedback. For the Access annual testing, what notification and release of results we provide to the parents? The Access tests are given annually to identify English language learners, to monitor student progress in acquiring English language proficiency in academic content. We send a parent notification letter, and also the active testing meets the U.S. federal requirements of every student succeed at for monitoring and reporting EL progress toward English language proficiency. The Nash County Public School ESL department informed the parents about the Access testing prior to its occurrence via a district letter. Students learn how to navigate through the assessment by participating in a free testing online tutorial. Once the Access testing results are received, each student individual report is mailed home along with the testing guide explaining their results.
Title IV, Part A, known as Student Support and Academic Enrichment, supports the development of the whole child through nurturing social emotional development as well as academic achievement. More specifically, Title IV funds are used to increase parent engagement activities, instructional programs, technology integration, mentoring programs, and school safety. Title VI, Subpart B is the McKinney-Vento Homeless Education Act. It is dedicated to supporting the needs of our homeless students. Measures that the district takes to ensure our homeless children receive the support they need include the following: beginning of year training on the McKinney-Vento Act and its requirements for serving our homeless students, best interest determination meetings when needed, equal access to school activities and supplies and materials, participation in school offered tutoring services, outreach efforts by our homeless education department, and specifically our families in transition liaison, and intensive support from our student services department, including our social workers.
Good evening. My name is Chad Thompson. I'm the Executive Director of CTE and Workforce Development. Tonight, I will discuss how federal funds support career and technical education in Nash County. Federal Perkins 5 funds support career and development in Nash County schools in 5th through 12th grades. Our career and technical education programs are open to all students in these grade levels. Perkins 5 funds are utilized to support many areas. Some of these areas include professional development, career-related field trips, instructional supplies and materials, repair parts, materials and labor, tuition reimbursement, and travel reimbursement. At this time, Mr. Dupree will come up and talk from Rocky Mountain Middle School.
Good afternoon. My name is Leon Dupree. I'm the principal of Rocky Mountain Middle School, and this afternoon I'm going to explain to you how at Rocky Mountain Middle School federal funds benefit our school. First of all, I'm starting with reducing the class sizes and providing additional staffing, and also dealing with the social and emotional piece to provide more historical justice practices, and also dealing with providing more intervention support for those students dealing with student support. Dealing with the instructional programs and also after-school programs at Rocky Mountain Middle School, we have after-school programs that give additional tutorials in the afternoon. Also, with our federal funds, we supply students with additional student supplies and also classroom technology equipment. For any students that have any damaged devices or move into Rocky Mountain Middle School, they will have the opportunity to receive a one-to-one device. Along with our staff, they will also be able to receive an interactive board in each classroom. Dealing with our parent involvement, we do have a parent center at Rocky Mountain Middle School where we conduct our PTO meetings. Also, we have in this parent center where we have the enrollment for parents enrolling their child into Rocky Mountain Middle School and any other type of resources or meetings we conduct in our parent center. Along with the events that we have dealing with Title I or any other federal fund events that we have at Rocky Mountain Middle School, we do provide refreshments or any other type of equipment or any other type of things that our parents would need to get more acclimated to Rocky Mountain Middle School. And the last thing we do is for us to maintain our 97% teacher retention rate. Basically, we have staff retention bonuses. And also just like this year by us seeing academic growth in our school, we do receive academic performance growth as well, in which that we can continue to provide with our federal funds professional development to enhance our teachers and also all staff of Rocky Mountain. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Alan Wilson. I'm the principal at Bailey Elementary School. I want to talk to you just for a few minutes about how we use our Title I funding or our federal funding to provide additional supports to our students at Bailey. This school year, the 22-23 school year, we're providing 2 additional teacher assistants to provide additional support to our lower grades with their class sizes. We're also providing 2 certified part-time tutors to come in to assist our upper grades to provide individualized instruction as well with our small groups. We also were able to purchase student agendas to help students become organized and to learn how to communicate with their teachers and provide an additional layer of support as well with providing agendas for every student. In addition, we also supported parent communication through the purchase of what we call Tuesday folders. These folders go home every Tuesday, and they provide an additional method of communication between parents and teachers and students. We were also able to purchase consumable workbooks for students to have individualized support there, additional instructional supplies for students and teachers, and then also provide professional development opportunities to build capacity within our staff. So we are very grateful to have these funds at Bailey Elementary to support our students. Thank you.
Your feedback with all of our federal programs is needed and appreciated. We have provided a method in a way that all parents and community members can provide us feedback regarding what you've seen tonight regarding our expenditures and our different programs. And that address is on the screen, federalprograms@ncpschools.net. Please go in, review what we have showed you tonight, and provide us feedback and any questions that you have, suggestions, ideas. Please feel free to share it with us. We greatly much appreciate it as well as need it. The contacts on the screen are for you if you have any questions regarding talking individually to those presenters. We will have our panel come up, but just want to remind you that our parent engagement coordinators, Michelle Royster, Janet Morris oversees our Title I, Title II, Title IV in our homeless education. Mr. Daza oversees Title III in migrant education. Mrs. Williams oversees our pre-kindergarten services. Mrs. King oversees our transition to kindergarten. Mr. Thompson oversees our CTE. Mrs. Griffin oversees all of our testing in the district, and Mr. Howard oversees our equity plan. Mrs. Wallace oversees our HR department and federal programs. Our panel will transition to the front to be able to take your questions. As they're coming up, I remind you to please submit your question using our YouTube feature. In YouTube, you will see on the side where it says say something. If you will type your questions and questions there, we'll be able to give it to our panel. Our Zoom feature, we see that our chat has been disabled, so we will have to rely on questions coming from YouTube. But if you're not able to get your question to us, please feel free to reach out to me, Michelle Royster, and I will make sure that your question gets to the right department and get you an answer. We do have some pre-planned questions that we would like to now ask to our panel. So going to our panel, our first question is, why are there some schools in our system that are not Title I? And Mrs. Morris, if you could please answer that question.
So school eligibility for Title I services is based on need and poverty data. While we would like to serve all of our schools, priorities have to be set, which for Nash County Public Schools is all elementary schools where the foundation for student learning is developed, and our high poverty middle and high schools.
Thank you. Are there some schools in the school district that do not receive any federal funding? And if so, how does the school district balance meeting their needs?
All schools in the district benefit from federal funding in some way, whether they are identified for Title I services or not. For example, our COVID relief federal funds provide technology, staff, professional development, summer programs, sanitation, cleaning supplies, and building improvements across the district. Another example is Title II. That grant focuses on improving teacher quality at all schools by providing professional development and mentor support for beginning teachers. So we have federal funds that support all of our schools, even if the school's not eligible for Title I.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson, the next question I think belongs to a principal. What do I do if I missed a parent Title I meeting and would like the information?
So if you need that or requesting that information, I would encourage you to reach out to your child's principal. They will be glad to provide you with access to that information. I know at Bailey, our information is posted to our school website. If you go at the top left corner, the About Us tab, it is posted there with our Title I information as to how we use our funds and what additional supports we provide for our students as well.
Thank you. Our next question that we've had asked is, how can I, as a parent, be more involved in the decision-making process? And Mr. Dupree, can you handle that question for us?
Yes. I would say, first of all, I would recommend them to get in contact with their school principal. I know some schools have PTO or PTSO, but dealing with the decision making, I would recommend the first step is always to speak with the school principal.
Thank you. How can I get in touch with the parent representative to the school leadership team?
The same thing, I would say basically dealing with the school leadership team, touch base with your school principal, and also they'll be able to direct you in the right direction, dealing with all decision makings or anything that's dealing with their school.
Mrs. Morris, we have a question from a parent. Why is my child's school starting tutoring after January?
Decisions on school tutoring, when it starts, when it's offered, are decided by the school. Schools with stakeholder feedback review the needs of their school. They develop a plan for the use of their federal funds. And within the budget restraints, the plan determines the best time to provide intervention and enrichment opportunities. For some schools, that may be tutoring during the school day. For others, it may be after school tutoring. And then when those services begin would be a school by school decision.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson, I think the next question is for you. My child's school has a federal grant. Does this impact the amount of funds they receive from the different funds from local, state?
So within the career and technical education, this grant is to cover career development. And so this grant is utilized for career development only within the system, once again, with grades 5 through 12. So as far as federal funding, if there's a particular federal grant, just like we're talking about now with career and technical education, then yes, your child can be affected and they are covered with these funds as we make decisions on where to utilize them the best for career development.
Thank you. That is all of the pre-questions that we did get from our parents. Some of these questions were submitted just for the audience from our Parent Advisory Council that we were able to ask tonight. I would like to take a moment for everyone to look at our wonderful panel so that you can see how federal dollars are spread throughout our school district. And I would also like to take this moment to thank our panel, beginning with Mr. Hernadaza, our ESL coordinator, Mr. Alan Wilson, our principal from Bailey Elementary School, representing our elementary schools, Mrs. Natasha Williams, our early learning coordinator, Mr. Leon Dupree, representing our middle schools, Rocky Mount Middle, Mrs. Janet Morris, our executive director for federal programs, and Mr. Chad Thompson, our executive director for career technical education for both middle and high schools. We would like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me, Michelle Royster. My phone number is 252-567-3379. I will be more than happy to connect you to one of the panel members so that they'll be able to take your questions, concerns, and be able to move forward as a school district. We would like to thank everyone for taking their time tonight. Special thanks to our technology for working with us tonight. Have a great night. We did.